Law of Attraction: How to Attract Money, Love, and Happiness. Author by David Hooper. Part 4. Relationships. Relationships are often what inspire us each morning to get out of bed and make an effort to improve our lives. The power of attraction is never more obvious than in the case of two people in love. This power makes each of us more eager and willing to make that extra effort in our lives and to go on with each successive day. The power in a relationship is also the thing which fuels people's sense of spiritual effort in their lives and gives them a sense of gratitude for their life. Romance. Romance is one of the most powerful energies that inspire an interest in the spiritual life. It is the romantic ideal that is so intimately tied to our experience of love and ultimately to the greater meaning behind life. How fortunate are you and I, whose home is timelessness, we who have wandered down from fragrant mountains of eternal now to frolic in such mysteries as birth and death, a day, or maybe even less. E. E. Cummings. Some of the most romantic ideas have been expressed to us through art and poetry, and these fields are especially disposed to inspire a greater vision of what is sacred and most important to us in our lives. Romance is also closely associated with love, as it helps to express the challenges that are encountered when two people strive to have a loving relationship. Love is always fraught with challenges, and romance helps us to express these challenges in a more positive light. One of the more widely held beliefs about romantic love is that there is often a mere randomness to the encounter, which eventually can be seen to have a wider significance in the more meaningful pattern of love. Romantic love is also commonly thought to involve an overcoming of obstacles in which the larger pattern is somehow threatened by a less meaningful element. Romantic love cannot be controlled and is therefore thought to be something beyond the individuals themselves. The pattern of romantic love initially emerged in the Middle Ages, when it was often the case that insurmountable barriers would separate two would-be lovers from their true destiny of eternal union. This is the typical image that we have when we think of romantic visions. The overcoming of age-old barriers often results in a strong regard for winning the love of the other person, and it has motivated great efforts to be expressed through poetry, songs, and heroic battles since the earliest ages. Even today, writers go to great efforts to express this ongoing struggle and to revive the old passions of the earlier romantic ideal. We strive to express these ideas in the same way that we always have, because the themes are always the same and will never change. We think, sometimes, there's not a dragon left, not one brave knight, not a single princess gliding through secret forests, enchanting deer and butterflies with her smile. What a pleasure to be wrong. Princesses, knights, enchantments, and dragons, mystery and adventure, not only are they here and now, they're all that ever lived on Earth. Richard Bach. In our modern age, romantic love is still the theme of many forms of art and entertainment. Popular culture, as it is expressed through films and music, is rich with romantic love. While romantic love is still the dream of many, some claim that the more modern presentations of the media are still not realistic. Romantic love, as depicted in books and movies, is thought to be extremely rare and may not ever occur at all. Critics point at the modern dating practices in which sex is really the only true goal of the partners, and a lasting relationship is almost never the case. Many people also suggest that the rigorous demands of money and careers often rob people of the romantic ideal, and that the wider vision of love can never be realized. Modern day dragons. Modern statistics and the many observations of psychologists also paint a somewhat dim picture about romantic love. Although love is certainly thought to be a reality that is possible in our age, it is often represented in the mass media as something other than realistic. The dragons of the modern age may still be alive and well, but their imaginary quality may now come to us in a completely different way. Many argue that the modern day dragons are intimately connected to the mass media in the way that it presents love as a romantic fantasy, rather than a higher level of spiritual awareness. Love as depicted in the mass media is not what this level is about. What the world generally refers to as "love" is an intense emotional condition, combining physical attraction, possessiveness, control, addiction, eroticism, and novelty. It's usually fragile and fluctuating, waxing and waning with varying conditions. Hawkins. It may certainly be that love is still a realistic goal to obtain in our lives, but many of the false ideas about romantic love may have to first be addressed if we are to overcome its obstacles in the modern age. We may need a new way of looking at romantic love, that will help us to find our true destiny and a lasting relationship. Hidden underneath the temporary attractiveness of the common romantic notions will hopefully lie an attention to our own spiritual practices and a more serious concern for the law of attraction. Growth in relationships. As the attraction to the higher levels of awareness intensifies in our lives, an underlying vibration will become the glue that holds a relationship together. Attraction becomes more than just a temporary relationship between two people, but rather a balancing force that continues to make each partner attractive to the other. The individuals move out into the world and begin to establish relationships in their careers and social lives, so that they learn to practice the principles of love with everyone they meet. This is a further advancement in awareness that could be understood as the tendency toward unconditional love. Love is often considered to be a power that can endure for eternity because it strives toward a unity between all things rather than just two people. This eternal nature is also a tendency toward unconditional love, as it incorporates not only the two individuals who were first attracted to each other, but others whom they meet after they have first fallen in love. Growing couples learn to share their love with the others around them and move forward toward a more eternal vision of love. The tendency toward unconditional love may begin when a couple decides to move forward as individuals, either in their careers or in the case of a family. Starting a family has always been the natural progression that a couple in love will embark upon. Just like the challenges they first face in their romantic love, the challenges they face with children are often profoundly underestimated. A mother and father must endure many more responsibilities than they ever imagined, and arguments over how to raise the children are often at the top of the list when it comes to disagreements between spouses. The law of attraction applies here, just as it has applied in every circumstance before. We become what we think about as individuals and as a family. It is interesting to see the way children often take on very different roles from their parents. They have minds of their own and there really is no way of controlling them. In the same way that couples tend to create a balance between them, families also tend to move toward a balance, and various roles will come into place so as to carry on this underlying vibration of wholeness and totality in the family. It is important to remember that we can only control the small things, but not the big things. Family members will all have different visions of what is right for them, and we must be open to the individual differences of each person. If the parents are to continue to strive for the higher level of awareness that they reached in their own relationship, they will have to continue to apply this to their children, who eventually introduce new challenges to the family dynamic. It seems as though the original idea that opposites attract would be showing its colors once again, and yet a family will not stay together unless there is an underlying set of values which hold the entire unit together. Family patterns and family structure have changed a lot in the past few decades. However, it is still a great advantage for children if they are encouraged to pursue positive and worthwhile values in their everyday lives. Some of the more basic core values that help to promote a positive attractiveness are the pursuit of personal development, independence and responsibility, leadership, citizenship, respect for others, and a positive enjoyment of life. In the case of personal development, children should be encouraged to develop physically, emotionally, and mentally. They should learn positive values that are related to their health, learning, creativity, and exploration. These may include the ability to trust themselves and others through the use of open communication and genuine concern. Healthy competition that springs from a mutual support can also be emphasized. These attractive values help to contribute to the positive development of any individual, and they are essential to promoting a better quality of life. In terms of independence, a child should be provided with an individual sense of freedom, but should also learn personal responsibility and self-control. Activities that allow them to act independently and responsibly will encourage an attractiveness toward these values in greater proportions over time. Parents should allow children to make mistakes and then to learn from those mistakes. The children can learn to become involved in the planning and execution of their own future in a manner that promotes their own independence and personal responsibility. Leadership is also an important value to promote in the family, as it is closely tied to independence and responsibility. Many experts believe that leadership qualities emerge naturally as long as parents promote the values of being positive and enjoying the many opportunities that life has to offer. Parents can reinforce these ideals, However, by modeling the more positive and constructive values in their own families, citizenship is a higher level value that children can benefit from, as it helps them to recognize the value of the democratic process and their own role as a citizen in a democracy. Parents should recognize that their opinions, ideas and values will strongly affect the perceptions of their children and eventually affect their overall attitude about their own careers and work ethic in the larger community. Learning to respect others is probably one of the most important values that children can benefit from, as it teaches them how to become attractive and to ultimately love another person. Respect is intimately connected to responsibility. Our responsibility to each other is what makes our relationships both lasting and loving. Children can learn that it is their own responsibility to see their behavior as having an impact upon others in either a positive or negative way, and this will teach them to develop better relationships. Finally, a positive enjoyment of life is probably the most central value that a child can learn. Life can be seen as great. It can have adventures, surprises and lots of joy. Eventually they may become leaders who inspire others by the way they perceive life. Problems can be seen as challenges to be overcome and as positive learning experiences rather than permanent obstacles. By incorporating the many values already mentioned and others such as courtesy, acceptance, compassion, and integrity, a family will become an attractive field of spiritual values where the members can thrive and grow. The law of attraction can be implemented in a positive way for both individuals and families so as to bring about a healthy manner of living. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear it again, be sure to click the subscribe button and also click the notification bell to switch between getting all notifications, and like and share. Leave your comment and suggestions below. Thank you for watching.